as part of its objective to providing a Pan-African platform for discussion on investment, project development, collaboration, and policy within the context of energy transition, the African Natural Resources and Energy Investment has organized a 3-day workshops for its stakeholders with the theme Natural Resources for Economic Development. Speaking to newsmen on the significance of the workshop, some of the participants have this to say.
So it's one understanding that the federal government as a whole cannot address the challenge. So what needs to be done is to make sure that we invite private sector into the space. How we do it is we design a result-based framework whereby the private sector bring in their own capital, deploy the project, then we provide them with subsidy. So that is one way of accelerating. And the second way is also being very daring. The government of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu has been very daring in addressing the electricity challenge in the country. And that is why they crystallized the $750 million funding, which was meant to provide over 70 million Nigerians with access to electricity. And you can also see the intervention that we are doing at the universities. Here in the University of Abuja, we have done a 30 megawatt, Maiduguri 12 megawatt, University of Calabar, Abeokuta, all about 7 universities and 2 teaching hospitals. We have completed it and we have started work in 9 universities and 1 teaching hospital. And this is all with the support of the current government. So that is what we are doing to address the challenge.
See, especially from the Minister of Solid Minerals in Nigeria, our host, Dr. Dele Adake. He's passionate about it. And I saw also the Secretary General for the African Mineral Strategic Group, Mr. Moses Edungu. How they are motivated and how that has wrought up on so many other participants. And look, it's now time for us to ensure that our mineral resources we have, and mining being a very risky and capital-intensive process, and it has a lot of need for energy, how we can bring these two sectors together to ensure that we develop our countries. Whilst, of course, being mindful of our contribution, to reducing global warming and other stuff, but we must do it in a way that does not compromise our own development. Because again, as I've been saying this, the developed world have used coal, oil, and gas to take themselves to where they are. They need to give us also the opportunity to be able to do that. And we should do it, of course, in a more responsible way, while being mindful of the need to mitigate and adapt to climate change. So for me, that's the biggest thing. And Nigeria that has hosted us, this is my second time in Abuja. I'm very impressed, and I do look at the energy I see from the Nigerian Sunny exhibition. I will take some of that energy away to Sierra Leone and make sure we also do the same thing like what the Nigerians are doing in Abuja. The biggest thing is I'm living here, going back home, telling everybody that the mineral resources, the energy resources, we're going to add them to Afrobeat and then do the same thing that Afrobeat is doing around the world to ensure that, yes, Africans, we are now awake, we've not woken up, taking our development into our hands, taking 2 major sectors, mining and energy, and then making that message to our people.
Mining sector is still a developing sector, and we're still there because a lot of the minings that occur within Nigeria and mostly Africa at large is you mine, you take out the resources. We haven't really gotten to the point of the beneficiation aspect of mining, whereby the value chains are retained in Africa. So I think that's why we're still talking about potential. Until we get that full value chain, then we think we're fully participated in mining.
So tell us.
The state government has a very robust plan to ensure, like I said, retaining the value chain within Taraba State. And that is why the mining activities in Taraba State is going to be very different than what we have basically in the rest of the rest of the country. Value chain is key for us. It's key to economic prosperity. We don't want to still continue the sector of Africa where solid minerals and raw materials have been taken out unprocessed.
I think it's a successful event. I think Africa needs to come together with one common goal and vision. We have similar challenges, and we have to brainstorm together to cross-fertilize ideas and solutions that are for Africa, tailor-made for Africa. It translates to shared prosperity. It translates to intra-Africa trade. It translates to value addition. It translates to keeping the value of our resources for the benefit of our people, to build infrastructure, for energy, and for development, and not taking out value and importing finished goods, exporting jobs. It translates to employment, it translates to skills development, and enhancement of all the values that we have already within Africa. Local miners, 90% of mining in Nigeria is artisanal, small scale and artisanal miners. We have special incentives for training and capacity building. We have the initiatives for off-taking because they often fall prey to middlemen, and they exploit them, and they cut them short in pricing and other things. So capacity building training, safer mining so that they don't kill themselves and they don't expose themselves to mercury and cyanide and other harmful practices.
The Minister of the Solid Mining is supporting this our company also too much. We are building factories in Nasarawa, and we also have a factory in Shagamu. Now it's already in production.
So government regulations that we need to get through. But for solar is sort of slightly easier, especially with the ranges of 100 kilowatts and below. So most of what we do focuses on that type of work. For wind, there's a project we're working on right now, which is a solar wind hybrid project. So we're not really wind house, but most of our focus really is on solar. Because of the part of the world, we are blessed with sunlight, so we might as well take advantage of it. We have a capacity building and capacity enhancing program right now. We're working on it with some universities in Nigeria, Kenya, and Italy. And what we're looking to do is that we're looking to also, while we're bridging affordability gap for energy solutions, we're also bridging the knowledge gap for renewable energy. Africa is a continent of 1.3, 1.4 billion people. The number of jobs in renewables is less than 400,000. So there's a lot of work to be done. We are currently focused on profit, of course. We're not an NGO. But at the same time, we know that the long-term game is if we're able to successfully enhance the knowledge of the youth. The African youth are a group of brilliant people. If we're able to ensure and educate them more on renewables and they become their own entrepreneurs, we're all better for it.
Participants at the workshops were advised to adequately utilize the knowledge they gathered from the seminar in their various human endeavor. Juliet Johnson, ENTV, Abuja.